Hello and welcome to Alternate RPG Podcast. This is a series where we talk to D&D players about playing other RPGs called D&D Players Try. In this episode, we're going to talk to Martin, my good friend, about his experience playing Blades in the Dark. I believe he has played Blades in the Dark with multiple DMs and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it. So Martin, who are you?
Yes. I'm Martin, a long-time D&D enjoyer. Played in DM games for about 4 to 5 years now. And I've played Blades in the Dark about 3 times. All user.
No, the first time was with Jonathan, right? No?
Was Jonathan running it? No, you were running
Yeah.
it.
I was ready.
No, you were running it.
Okay, so it was all me.
It's all you. But
It's
it's really good.
Thank you. What kind of other RPGs do you play? Is it only D&D or?
Oh no, I've been playing Cyberpunk Red. Very great system. I want to try starting Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Been reading into it. Really cool system there. Yeah, it's not just D&D for me. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. About Blades, back to Blades in the Dark. Can you describe your experience in about 3 words, let's say?
Okay, I prepped for this, all right? I
Okay.
picked 3 very specific words for this. Streamline, fluffy, and improv.
Fluffy and improv, similar words, but
No, fluffy is not crunchy.
Okay.
That's what I mean by fluffy.
Interesting. And what was your most memorable experience you had with the games that we've played so far?
I think the most memorable one was a very cool, what was it? It was a cool set piece where we were running away from a whole bunch of people chasing after us. We were in the big boss limousine. We popped
Okay.
on the back and we threw a couple of grenades out, trying to blow them up. But I think they critical failed and one grenade fell back in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was really funny.
With Chris, right? And
Hi.
that's
That's great.
Yeah. I feel like this game, especially, failure is a big part of the game. And part of the game is, I think this game really aces it when it comes to having fun while you're failing. Yeah, like other systems it may feel like it feels bad and stuff like that when your fireball doesn't go off or something like that. But in this one, even in failure, like the story is progressing, right?
Yeah, 100%. Every time you fail, you don't get a hard no. It's just you fail forward. That's the idea of the system. Things can happen still, but the clock system.
And we'll get back to that clock system thing later on. But how do you think this game is different to 5e?
Oh, it's so different. Instead of D20s, you're rolling D6s. Easier to find the dice. You probably have a few of them knocking around at home. Focus not on combat, but a lot more on planning and execution. So in
Right.
5e, most of the system is very combat heavy. Basically, half the book is just combat and the spells for combat. But in Blades in the Dark, you're mostly just planning what you want to do and executing it wrongly. And that's the fun part about it.
I guess, and that's is similar to 5e in that way. You plan for something and then it goes wrong. But of course, like the way you get out of things in this game usually doesn't revolve so much around combat.
No, wait, let me clarify. In 5e, you plan for something, it doesn't go well, and you kill him.
In this game, it doesn't. You plan something, it doesn't go well, but you run away, or you get
Or-
disrespected and probably sustain a lot of heavy injury.
There's
Yeah,
a few
because-
times that it didn't go well, and
Yeah.
we just did a distraction.
Yeah.
As we just finished the job behind and just ran away.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah. I think I never really run like a multi-session thing with you.
No, not yet.
Yeah. But basically for Blades in the Dark, your injuries don't really go away after one session or even after one scenario. They carry over to the next one. Covering from that can be quite challenging. One of the great things about this system is also because you're like playing in a gang, right? You're not incentivized to always keep playing the same character. So let's say you're one guy, you're like on the brink of death in your first scenario already, right? Which probably happens a lot. Like Martin, like most of the characters in the game, like you're taking significant amounts of stress and
Oh
damage
yeah, 100%.
by the end of the scenario. Between those, right, your recovery is quite limited depending on your roles and stuff like that and the downtime activities you do. And then afterwards, for your next scenario, you may be incentivized to pick a different character so your guy has more time to recover. So that's how the kind of like game works. And
That makes
one of the
sense.
reasons in the game, yeah. Do you think this game is difficult to learn?
Oh, it's really not difficult to learn. especially for someone who's already into role playing. But since I'm an experienced player, I'm not too sure the experience of new to role playing experience that Blades will provide. Yeah, but if you ask me, it's really very open ended, and some new players may get decision paralysis. So that's a bit of a concern there as well.
What do you mean by it's too open and
Like considering D&D, you just go, I want to do this thing, and we ask, do you have the item for it? And no, so they can't do it. Whereas in Blades, they can just go, do you have the item for it? And they go, here it is.
Yeah.
I thought of it just now.
yes. So, guys, listeners out there, one of the cool things of Blades in the Dark is you don't actually decide what's in your inventory at the start of the game. So, like you at the start of the game, you choose your loadout. So, how heavy a backpack you're carrying or whatever, and you have like inventory slots. And as the game passes on, when you need the item, then you fill in that slot and say that's in your inventory. So you're not bringing like unnecessary things to whatever scenario that you're in. And it keeps things really open-ended for you as well. And yes, because of the infinite nature of the setting, there's no set map or NPCs in this game. Really, everything is up to the players to communicate with the DM to build this world together. So it's a lot less about looking at your character sheet and more about looking at the current scenario, the opportunities that are out there. What do you wish this system could borrow from 5e?
Okay. If you ask me, Blades in the Dark is a great game because of how narrow its scope is. Just about heisting with a gang and planning the heist. If you add any more to it, I think you just detract from it.
Yeah. I feel like I've only run heists with you guys, but actually there are like multiple things you can do because there's a gang called Assassins. It's basically you can be like play Hitman. Basically. Actually, you know what? That's a very good point. This system feels to me just like Hitman. Like the video game Hitman, when you're inside this large playground and there's so many possibilities, you can choose like different angles and stuff like that. That's how I am inspired when I run scenarios in this game. But yes, most of the time it can be formulaic if you play it for a super long time, because it's always about this session doing this very specific thing. It's not really a sandbox-ish kind of game in a way where you like, oh, today I want to go winter. What do you call that? Winter, City of Winter in D&D, winter something.
Why no?
Today I want to go to freaking Baldur's Gate. Tomorrow I want to go to Fendelver, something like that. It doesn't really lend itself to that. It's more of we got a job to do and we gotta do.
And that's the great thing about it for me. You don't want to have it so open ended that you just become D&D.
Yeah, so basically. Yes. And what are some things you think 5e could learn from Blades in the Dark?
Oh, there's so many things. The main thing that I've used before is this thing called the flashback mechanic, where you could just, in Blades in the Dark, you pay stress. Then you go back in time, do something you want then, and it happens now. So you can go, I set a trap there before, stuff like that. I used that in my own game before when I had a friend who was trying to place an alarm. He's actually using the alarm the opposite way. He wants to know when his friend is passing by because they are low level and they didn't have ways to communicate.
Yeah.
So he used the alarm, placed it down, and told the alarm to not alert anyone else. Even if anyone else in the house passes by, only if his friend passes by.
Right.
So when he passes by, then you trigger. So he went back in time, placed the alarm as she was passing by the area, the inspiration. And it was really good and the payoff was amazing. Another great thing would be the clock system as well.
Okay. Tell us more about this clock system.
Based on my understanding of it, I'm not too clear. What you do with the clock system is whenever a situation happens where the DM can go, this is a potential failure state. You draw a clock, put how many failures you have, and he'll show it to you. So you go, I'm going to try this out now. The clock is filled in.
Okay. So for viewers who don't know what a clock system is, basically imagine like a pie chart that's like equally divided into 4, 8, or however many equal parts. And basically every time you do like a skill check And if you fail or if you pass, like the GM might fill it up or take away stuff from it. And if the whole thing fills up, something bad happens usually, or maybe something good if you're trying to pick a lock. So an example would be like, oh, you're trying to, let's say, cut open some glass so you and your team can infiltrate this mansion. Unfortunately, you didn't pass the roll very well, but you still enter the mansion because the whole concept of Blades in the Dark is you fail forward. But you created a loud sound as you were doing that. And then I shade like a circle, a quarter of a circle and label that circle something like guards on high alert. So the more skill checks that you do that fail, the more risk you're incurring of the guards being on high alert. Once all four are filled up, then
The guards
shit
are on
hits
high
the
alert.
fan, and then people are actively looking for you. It can feel like, actually, I used this last night to run Warhammer Fantasy because every time when you play an RPG, it can feel like your DM is manipulating things behind the scenes, or my NPC shows up right as you need the help, that kind of thing. But this clock system is very useful in a way where you can show the players that, hey, your actions are actually affecting what's happening. So yesterday, what happened was there was supposed to be an NPC that's helping the group, but I wanted it to be like, hey, you need to buy time for this NPC to cut. So like the more skill checks they passed, like I shaded more of the clock, and once the clock was full, the NPC came rather than I just bought NPC. So it feels like they play the part phase more. Yeah. So yeah, great. That's a great thing that Blades does. Last question: what kind of player would you recommend this game to, and not recommend it to?
So the ease of learning the rules of this game makes it very easy for me to recommend it to new players.
Right.
If new players wants to get into role-playing game, try Blades in the Dark. There's not a lot to learn, and there's a lot of fun to be had.
Yes.
Another one I would recommend it to would be experienced role players. There's a lot of things for them to get their teeth into, role play as different characters, especially since you said you're not expected to play one character the whole time. You
Yeah.
can play as different members of your gang, and that could be great as well. But I wouldn't recommend this to players who want crunchy combat because it's not here.
Yes. Yeah. I think a good thing about I like it about this game is a lot of RPGs there's a very clear exploration and combat mode. This one, the lines are blurred. Like it doesn't. There's no we go in combat now. Now we roll initiative. It's really just you stab the guy, he stab you back, and then your other teammates are like doing other things like running around, let's chickens.
Or it stabs you and you die on the spot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You don't die on the spot probably, but unless
I've never been stabbed, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, unless you've taken a lot of stress already, then yeah.
It's easy to build up stress though. You're just trying to do
Yeah.
things right. And you
Yeah.
make a deal with the what's that? There's a deal with the devil,
The
is it?
devil, yeah.
You
Correct.
can deal with the devil. You can
Your
pay
flashbacks,
stress to
cause
flashbacks
stress.
to
Yeah.
make things better. You just accumulate stress so much that way.
Yeah, sometimes if you fail the roll also, you take stress, depending on the situation. But that's Blades in the Dark. And I hope this for the short talk has introduced you guys a little bit to the system and inspire you to try this game because it's so much fun. I love running it. It's such a great time every time I do it. Everybody has a lot of fun. We actually run a lot of learn to play Blades in the Dark kind of sessions all over Singapore. So do check us out at altrpg.com and the links and everything will be up down here. I actually wrote an article as well on Blades in the Dark where you can check out a little bit more about the system and learn more about it before you commit to a session. But you know what? Learn to play session is like $10. So yeah, drop in, see if you like it. If you like it, we can play a campaign. It'll be fun. So
it's basically the price of a McDonald's meal.
maybe cheaper if I like make spicy is $12 upside.
Exactly. Don't eat McSpicy. It gives you diarrhea.
True that.
If you want a crunchier combat system and you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Check it out.
Coming soon. Ish.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe, yes. But yeah, all right. Thanks a lot, Martin, for your time.
Thanks so
And,
much, Nick.
These questions. And once again, I am from altrpg.com and I'm signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.